Tonight on Sportsnet 1, the Blue Jays have won 3 consecutive, and a victory tonight would cement a significant achievement. They would be back at 500 for the first time since April 5th. Adam Macko will get this one started for the Blue Jays. So with the Friday focus, let's get you to Camden Yards. There's Dan Schulman and Caleb Joseph.
Jamie, thank you. And in addition to the things that you just mentioned, it'll be a major league debut tonight. Charles McAdoo is in the lineup, batting sixth, Caleb, and playing second base.
Everything about your major league debut is a bit unfamiliar. And oh, hey, by the way, you're going to be playing second base, a position you've only played twice in the minor leagues. Yes, we know he played it in college, but Carlos Fablis is out here giving him some very simple instructions. When talking to manager John Schneider, he said, we love his athleticism. Just go out there and play. He can make the plays, but Carlos Fablis is talking to him about certain very simple things like making sure your footwork around second base is on point, making sure you're at the bag for stolen bases, even a couple trick plays here and there on pickoffs. So it will be a whirlwind of a day for McAdoo. The ball always finds you, Dan, when you are on defense. See how he responds.
And another guy who's only been in the big leagues a couple of weeks, Adam Macko, will be the starter, opener, first pitcher, whatever you want to call him, Jamie. The Blue Jays hoping to get maybe a couple of innings out of him tonight.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. That's the Friday Focus presented by McCain. Together is golden. Looks like a beautiful evening in Baltimore. Game 2 of 4 is set to go on Sportsnet 1. We'll have the first pitch right after this.
Welcome to Rogers Friday Night Blue Jays Baseball, presented by McCain. And another beautiful evening here in Baltimore, Maryland. It's the Blue Jays and the Orioles again. Second game of 4. As Jamie mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, a win tonight gets the Blue Jays back to the 500 mark, and it has been a while. They were last at 500, Caleb, when they were 4-4 way back in early April. Here is a look at the starting lineup for the Blue Jays tonight, including, as mentioned, the Major League debut for Charles McAdoo, a right-handed batter. He's got good power, good speed, 8 home runs, 7 steals at Buffalo. They got him in a trade for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at the deadline in 2024, and the first pitcher he will ever face in the big leagues is a left-hander, Trevor Rogers.
But 2025 was really kind to Rogers, a 1.81 ERA in 18 starts, but 26 has been the opposite. Last 6 games, 0-6, 11.03 ERA. He has had trouble putting away hitters. The changeup has not been effective, has not been able to get on the inner lane. See if the Blue Jays can continue to make this pitcher struggle.
George Springer is going to lead it off. And the first pitch is a fastball that'll run a little bit inside for ball 1. Springer went 1 for 5 last night, but boy, was the one important. It was a double to lead off the 8th, and he eventually came in with the go-ahead run that stood up as the winner, as he sends a little pop-up out to shallow right, and the catch will be made by Jackson Holliday for the first out of the night.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Rogers tonight here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. It's Ward, Tavares, and Cowser in right field. Rounding out the infield, Mayo's back at third base, Gunnar Henderson the shortstop, Holliday and Alonso with Samuel Basayo catching.
One down, and here's Ernie Clement hitting in the 2 spot, and he will lift a very high fly ball to left field, but there is room out there for Taylor Ward, and very quickly Trevor Rogers, I mean very quickly, on just 3 pitches, he's gotten 2 outs already. Again, struggling, an ERA of almost 7, and he's given up more than a run per inning over his last 6 starts. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Went 0 for 3 with an intentional walk in last night's game. And he'll look at a strike at the knees. It's 0-1. Like the changeup there down and away, and just fouled off the end of the bat. It's 0-2. No, a sinker, forgive me, a 2-seam fastball sinking down and away. And Rogers, needless to say, without overpowering stuff, he's got to be on the edges, moving the ball around. That was a changeup. Ball 1. When you know a guy's been struggling about as much as anybody has been struggling, do you take a different kind of a mindset into the game?
Yeah, I'd really try and force him into the zone, be really picky. Don't bail him out. I think that's kind of what we saw the first two batters. Like, don't be in a rush to really jump him. Let him kind of show you what he's got. He's struggling. You want to play off that mentality. He's really trying to work that inner lane to these right-handers so far.
And you can see from those numbers how much he has been struggling. 2-2 fouled back by Guerrero. And it's amazing because in 18 starts last year, he had an ERA under 2. He was one of the best starters in the majors a season ago. Got him a couple of years ago in a deal with the Marlins. And he strikes out Guerrero. So the Blue Jays go 1-2-3 against him in the top of the first. Here comes Adam Macko.
It's Orioles tomorrow on Sportsnet.
To the bottom of the first, and a look at the lineup for the hometown Orioles here tonight. Baltimore 26-31 on the season right now. Taylor Ward has walked 49 times this year, an on-base percentage of .400. There is power in this lineup. Henderson, Rutschman, especially Alonso, Samuel Basallo as well. The first pitcher of the night, label him however you want to, but the first pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays is young Adam Macko. 7th
game of the season for Macko. First major league start. I think if he could get through 6 outs, the Blue Jays would absolutely love that. Still has not given up an earned run. 4-seam slider, curveball, and changeup for the former 7th rounder of the Seattle Mariners in 2019. He's been impressive. I love his repertoire. I love his poise on the mound. Hopefully he can give manager John Schneider some length.
A former starter, he's done this before in the minors. 12th day in the big leagues, and it's his 7th appearance already, as he misses inside ball 1 to Ward. He went 2 for 3 with a walk last night, hitting .256, just a couple of homers on the season. Lined into left field, and a leadoff base hit.
Well, Ward puts a good swing on this pitch. Looks like trying to go in the outer half, and he just yanks it right across the middle of the zone. It's actually well located on the inner half for a miss, but Ward's able to suck those hands in and meet barrel to baseball.
So now Gunnar Henderson, Craig Albertaz has set up his lineup with basically righties and lefties pretty much alternating top to bottom. Henderson did not go around, and that is ball 1. 0 for 4 last night, down to .218 on the season, but 13 home runs already. Macko falls behind 2-0. Just the 7th Canadian to ever start a game for the Blue Jays. The last one was John Axford, who did it in 2018 and went 3 scoreless innings against the White Sox. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Looks like the Orioles are in their City Connects tonight. Friday night thing here at home. It's also Star Wars weekend. Not Star Wars night. Evidently it is Star Wars weekend here in Baltimore. And when they introduced the Blue Jays before, they had them up as all kinds of Star Wars bad guys. Don't mess with those guys, Caleb.
Look dangerous.
You better be able to outrun them.
I don't like my chances.
3-1. And a foul tip into the mitt of Valenzuela. 3-2. Adley Rutschman is on deck. Ward leaning a little bit, and now time is called. First base coach Jason Bourgeois goes over to give a little bit more information to Ward. We'll see if they start the runner here early in this one. Macko sets and draws a throw over to first to keep Ward honest. They're playing Henderson to pull, so McAdoo, who's out at second base, is well over in the direction of first base. You can see the shortstop Clement shading up the middle. Runner not going, and it's hit and caught out at third by Okamoto, and back safely at first as the throw pulled Guerrero away from the bag is Ward, but Guerrero is pointing into the dugout saying the Blue Jays should have a look at it. Looks like Drew Butera on the phone, and no challenge, so they get one, but a missed opportunity to get two.
Yeah, very interesting play. Okamoto's going to leave his feet. Ward is dead to rights in the middle of the field. Okamoto just jumps up and he's trying to fire it over there as quickly as possible, but because the throw is wide, Vladdy can't touch the base to create the force, so Vladdy's trying to jump back and induce it via attack. Watch Okamoto get up, and he's just going to kind of sling it over there. That sidearm throw induces arm side run, which takes Vladdy away from the base. If he would have gotten on top, he would have had Ward easily for a force.
Yeah, does look like he got back in safely. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he had more time than he thought he had. Sets his feet, comes over the top. He gets him by a step or two probably. So 1 on, 1 out after that soft liner to third, and here's the switch hitter, Adley Rutschman. He's DHing tonight. Rutschman went 1 for 4 last night, is just 7 for his last 46. The overall numbers, as you can see, are pretty good, but not so much recently for Rutschman. But regular Blue Jays fans who have watched a lot of games, they have seen Rutschman hurt the Blue Jays more than a time or two. I think there's a lot of respect for the man in the box right now. And look at those numbers.
13 homers.
Hard to believe. It seems like it's gone quickly. Rutschman will be a free agent after next season. It felt like they'd have this great young core forever, and they'd sign them all and have winning season after winning season. And they have had some winning seasons, but they've never won even a single playoff game with this core, some of which isn't here anymore, some of whom are getting closer to free agency. Henderson's a little bit younger, a little bit behind Rutschman. But Rutschman only has like a year and a half left until he's a free agent. 2-2. And it's down and in, now full.
I think, Dan, one of the most interesting things about that core for the Orioles in a day and age when a lot of teams are trying to lock some of their young guys up really early, Orioles haven't locked anyone up. No team-friendly deals first or second year in. It's been interesting to see them just kind of continue to go through the process via arbitration.
3-2. And of course the players may opt not to take a deal, right? Play it year by year, not want to give up any free agency to sign that long-term deal, the kinds of deals we've seen other young star players sign in recent years. I mean, listen, Guerrero never did it, right? Bichette never did it.
It did work out for him.
3-2 again. And it's hit up the middle. McAdoo's got a play and makes it. Charles McAdoo in his first major league inning out in the field starts a double play. You always like having it hit to you early, and when you can turn 2-on-1 play, your career's off to a good start. Those who spent a lot of time yesterday and today with Charles McAdoo, who told me he was, quote, trying to shake the rust off at second base. Hadn't played much there since college. Looked pretty comfortable turning that 4-3 double play. High fives all the way around. As now Kazuma Okamoto leads it off with a fly ball to very shallow center field. That's the third Blue Jay out of 4 to swing early in the at-bat and make an out within the first 2 pitches.
I don't love it. I really don't love it. I think when you're struggling as a pitcher, you can only build confidence by getting early outs, and that's exactly what Rogers is getting right now.
1 down, and here's Dalton Varsho, one of 2 left-handed batters in the lineup for the Blue Jays tonight. Varsho against lefties this year in 50 at-bats is hitting .240. He's at .260 overall. Sends it foul out of play left side, 0-2. Looks like Rogers calling his own pitch there. He's got a PitchCom transmitter on his glove. to center field. It's still going, and it's off the wall. Boy, Tavares did not play that one very well at all. And Varsho is into third with a triple. I mean, he had room to catch that ball, but never seemed to have a feel for it. Maybe was worried about the wall and never got a glove on it.
Was very timid from the get-go. It made the sound off of Varsho's bat. It was just a matter of if it was going to go over the wall. But Tavares, he just kind of floats towards this ball, and as he continues to get closer to the wall, he just runs out of room.
So here's Charles McAdoo in his first big league at bat, and he goes after the first pitch that he sees and swings and misses at a four-seamer up above the zone. He's got a chance to drive in a run here in his first big league at bat. The infield is in for the Orioles. And he swings and misses again, and that one was up and away, and maybe he's a little over anxious right now.
No doubt about it. You got the infield in, your first big league AB, you're pumped up with adrenaline.
24 years of age. Got a piece of it. McAdoo is from Walnut Creek, California. As Basayo may have been shaken up here on that foul ball, and the home plate umpire Clint Vondrack wants to give him some time and to make sure he is okay.
Yeah, Basayo wearing that hockey mask, but that's square dead central. Rattle the cage quite a bit.
So McAdoo steps back in, drafted in the 13th round by the Pirates out of San Jose State, and traded to the Blue Jays at the deadline in 2024 for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. A .250 average, 8 homers, 7 steals at AAA this year. And he just took strike 3 called. So he cannot get that runner home. 2 down.
Rogers sticks with the fastball. 4 straight fastballs. McAdoo probably sitting a little soft right here. Freezes him on a pitch well located up in the zone.
So now 2 outs. They're backed up the middle, but because Miles Straw is the batter, the corner infielders are still kind of tucked in a little bit here. Varsho at third after the 1-out triple. And here's Straw lining one to second, and a nice play made by Jackson Holliday. And that Varsho triple is stranded here in the top of the second. A good contact by Straw, but a good defensive play from Holliday.
Well, John Schneider and Pete Walker have grown accustomed to managing their way through these bullpen days, and they better be, because we got another one coming in less than 48 hours with an opener ahead of Spencer Miles on Sunday. But, you know, despite all the upheaval and uncertainty on this pitching staff, it hasn't had any trouble preventing runs this month. Whatever stats you like, whether it's process, results, peripheral, the Blue Jays are up near the top of pitching staffs in MLB. As you can see here, it's the offense that is lagged behind this month. You can think about it this way: the Blue Jays have won 7 of their last 9, and in each of those 7 wins, they've held the opposition to 2 runs or fewer. But in 4 of those 7 wins, the Blue Jays have scored only 2 runs themselves. It's going to be really tricky tonight, especially, Dan, to manage through without the back end of the bullpen.
Arden, thank you. Yeah, they are juggling a lot of different things on the pitching side as Pete Alonso leads off the bottom of the second. And what Arden is referring to with the back end of the bullpen is Tyler Rogers, Jeff Hoffman, Louis Varland have all pitched each of the last 2 days. Unless something shocking happens, they're all unavailable tonight. Alonso gets one in the air down the right field line, headed for the corner, but it slices just foul. So they don't have their top 3 leverage guys at the end of the pen, but they got to figure out a lot of innings between now and then. But bigger picture, having 2 bullpen days every 5 games is a concern, right? It's a concern for the health of the relievers who are having to pitch as much as they are. And it's not like, you know, Ross Atkins and John Schneider and Pete Walker don't know this. They've just got so many injured guys. What other options do they have? Dylan Cease is supposed to throw a bullpen tomorrow or the next day here, but he can't come back for at least another 10 days. Max Scherzer, maybe 2 weeks if everything goes well. Shane Bieber, maybe 3 weeks if everything goes well. Like, they're coming, but it's not imminent. As Alonso fouls off another one. but there aren't really many other options. The depth they had has been depleted by all the injuries.
Yeah, and their relievers have thrown 238 innings. There's only 3 clubs in the big leagues that have thrown more than that: Nationals, Rockies, and Sox. And quite honestly, it's just unsustainable. It's unsustainable to ask these relievers to stay on top of their form, being used as often as they are.
Swing and a miss, and Mako gets Alonso for the first out of the bottom of the second.
Well, Alonso just barely missed a home run down the right field line, and he pulls the string on a changeup up in the zone. You can see that front hip flying from Alonso. Not able to catch up to it.
Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Get 25% off any footlong on game days. Order in the Subway app using code STRIKEOut. Now a swing and a line drive into right center. That is a base hit for the catcher, Samuel Basayo. He is aboard with 1 out. You know, back to the pitching situation, you've heard us talking about 17 games in 17 days. Kind of a bad time to have to deal with all these injuries. Well, today, as is day number 15 of those 17, there is Austin Voth, who's going to figure into tonight's game. They'll need multiple innings out of him as well. A strike to Leody Taveras. It feels like, you know, the Blue Jays, you want to win all these games, obviously, but they just, in another sense, just kind of want to get to Monday and regroup before they start playing Atlanta. Get these guys a day off. You just worry about how much these relievers are being used.
We'll know in August. You'll just be able to tell, you'll be able to feel how it's coming out of their hand in August.
Pitch outside, a ball and 2 strikes on the center fielder, Leody Taveras. And the reinforcements are coming. Cease, Scherzer, Bieber, all seemingly on the way. Popped back out of play. Patrick Corbin, a guy who they signed in the second week of the season. If you want to, you know, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he's their number 3 starter right now, and did a really good job again last night. Every game he pitches in, he gives him a chance to win. Fouled off. But when they signed him, you know, you kind of envisioned it as a more to the back end of the bullpen because of the injuries they had then, but they've got more injuries now than they had then, and he's become an even bigger part of the rotation. And a base hit into right field for Taveras. Up to second on the play goes Basayo.
Starting to mount an inning, the Orioles are, and check out the location on this, trying to go away again. He just yanks it. Again, not poorly located, but when you want it on the outer half to induce weak contact and you throw it on the inner half, you give that hitter a chance to meet barrel, even if they're late on the baseball.
Now Colton Cowser with Voth warming in the pen. An inning and a third and 27 pitches so far for Mako. Cowser, a left-handed batter, hitting .206. Mako's already gotten 1 ground ball for a double play. A called strike, and it's 0-1. Great spot for the slider there to jump out in front. A long look back at Basayo out at second. And the curveball flies out of his hand and winds up way over the head of Cowser. It's a ball and a strike. Now the 1-1 pitch. Hit in the air, very shallow center field, and it will be caught by Varsho for out number 2. The runners get back. And we'll see what John Schneider is thinking. A right-handed batter is due up, and I think we have our answer. He's going to make the move right here to Voth. So it'll be an inning and 2/3 for Mako, and Voth will come on to face a right-handed batter in Kobe Mayo. That is the reason for the move. The first of several pitching changes here in this game for the Blue Jays tonight. Are you a Rogers customer? Canada's winning inning is coming up next inning. When the Blue Jays get a hit, you could win big with Rogers Beyond the Sea. Bottom two here at Camden Yards on a beautiful Friday night in Baltimore. And here is right-hander Austin Voth coming out of the bullpen.
Last appeared in the big leagues on April 5th at Chicago versus the Sox. Pretty good line, 2 2/3, 3 hits of 1-run ball in relief. Providing length is huge, especially for the Blue Jays. As we've just been talking about, they really need length. He'll have a 6-pitch mix: cutter, 4-seam sweeper, curve, sinker, and split. Kitchen sink type. He's got to locate, see if he can get out of this jam and then provide some length for the Jays.
Pitched in that outing for the Blue Jays. Then they needed another arm. DFA'd him. He became a free agent, re-signed with the Blue Jays, went to Buffalo, and made 8 starts there, averaging about 4 innings per start. First and second, 2 outs, and Kobe Mayo hits the first pitch high and deep down the left field line, but it is foul. That ball went a long way.
112 off the bat. Second deck here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. It's a hang and breaking ball right on the inner half, and he steps in the bucket, steps towards third base, and just goes to launching. But guess what, Dan? It's just a strike.
The 0-1 outside.
It's a very long strike, but it's still
strike.
just a strike.
Mayo's got that kind of power. He's got a 439-foot home run this year, a 452-foot home run. It went out to right center last night. Jammed him with that fastball, and it's 1-2. Voth 2 years ago, and he's been around a while. He's 33 years old, parts of 8 major league seasons. Washington, Baltimore, pitched for about a year and a half here with the Orioles, was a reliever with Seattle 2 years ago. Then went to Japan last year because he felt it gave him his best opportunity to be a starting pitcher again, and that's what he wants to do. Came back, actually signed with the White Sox. They released him at the end of the spring. That's when the Blue Jays picked him up. You know, the life of a guy trying to stick around in the big leagues, bouncing all over the place. 1-2. And this is popped up and maybe playable for Guerrero. And he dropped it. He was there and he had room and it was in the glove. It looked like he had it, but it popped out.
Vladdy drifts over to this baseball and he gets near the cut of the grass and the warning track. It just kind of stops and then tries to reroute. There it was. That little reroute right there is what made that ball clank right off the heel of the glove. Couldn't get it secured in the pocket, but that little drift is what threw everything off right there. Now the Orioles have got a chance to make the Jays pay.
Another 1-2 pitch. Down and in. Bounces away from Valenzuela. The runners hold. Guerrero has been charged with an error on that play. And kind of the ironic thing is that's a play Vladdy's really good at. We've seen him make those plays time and time again. Is that the glove that they took out last night to get the webbing stitched up?
And there's new laces. You could just tell by the coloring, the black lacing on there.
Yeah, I don't think the glove.
It hit him right in the heel.
Yeah, the glove didn't have anything to do with it. 2-2. Line drive center field, hit well. Varsho back. He's got it. Dalton Varsho races back in deep center field, hauls it in, and saves a couple of runs.
What a perfect route. He had to get on this right out the gate. He didn't miss it. Perfect catch to save the inning.
Well, there were more than a few Blue Jays hitters excited to face Chris Bassitt yesterday. You probably remember George Springer greeted him tongue out to lead off the game, but Bassitt stone-faced Springer in return. That was by design. He told me earlier today that he went into the outing determined to pitch with tunnel vision and not make any eye contact with Blue Jays players and staff because, quote, if I looked at them as a person, my love for them would have trumped the competition side. And Bassitt wanted desperately to compete at his best, not only because that's what he does, but also, quote, because I didn't want to have a bad one against those guys, knowing how much crap talk they're going to give me if I do. Now, Bassett caught up with all of his old teammates and coaches pregame here today, as you just saw, and I asked him how he looks back on his time in Toronto. Bassett said, quote, "When I signed there 3 years ago, I didn't expect to have the relationship I had with all those people. I didn't expect to have some of my best friends in the world on that team, so I'm forever grateful for my time there."
Arden, thank you. And Bassett felt strongly about the team and his teammates and the city, too. He fell in love, he and his family fell in love with Toronto in the 3 years they were there. And I would say Bassett was over on the third base side of the field for at least half an hour, visiting with Varsho and Springer and Straw and Clement and a lot of the coaches and members of the staff, too. He was a big part of the leadership of the team, as this one is sliced down the left field line by Pinyango. And what a catch! Taylor Ward, sprawling towards the line, makes a sensational play to record the out.
Well, Taylor Ward says, "All right, Varsho, I see your catch, and I will one-up you." This is a ball slicing towards the line off the bat of Pinyango, and because of his bat path, this is going to have extreme slice running away from Ward the entire time. Had to make a perfect route right into the tip of the webbing of the glove, and he's fortunate he's able to hold on to that. Typically, those balls, once you hit the grass, pop out. He's able to snag it.
Now Brandon Valenzuela lines one right at him, and he'll make the play there as well. 2 down. So once through the order, all that Rogers has given up is the triple by Varsho, although there has been some pretty good contact in some other spots. Here's Springer, who popped up to second in his first at bat. Springer was out there with Bassett for a long time today. Hitting coach David Popkins looking on there, hoping to get this offense going. And if you look at various statistics or various categories, they're kind of like 21, 22, 23 in this or that out of 30 teams. It's not like they're, I know it feels like it, but it's not like they're 28, 29, 30 really. They're still bottom 10. They're still bottom third. But I think everybody is hoping, Springer has gotten going. Guerrero at some point has to get going, and then everybody awaiting the return of guys like Barger and Kirk. Two and two. Foul it off, and still 2 and 2 on Springer. Bassett's also been in the news a little bit lately because he is one of 8 active players on what they call the executive subcommittee for the Major League Baseball Players Association. That's kind of the inner circle of players who are involved, or at least are the ones to dispense the information about the collective bargaining agreement. Not a fun topic to talk about, but something that Bassett is heavily involved in. The Blue Jays retired, going to the bottom of the third. And build your own Blue Jays buddy, piece by piece, with a Potato Head specialty ticket. On Thursday, June 25th, specialty ticket purchasers will receive a Blue Jays Potato Head. Buy your specialty tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Now, you're a lot younger than me, so your kids are a lot younger than mine. My oldest son, who's 32 now, but when he was like 4, I mean, Potato Head was a big deal.
Yeah.
Do you have your kids have
Absolutely.
Potato Heads? Still a thing?
Yes,
All right.
still a thing. It's a great toy. I want one of those to travel with me all over the country.
Here's Jackson Holliday leading off the bottom of the third. Scoreless game here in Baltimore. Line drive right center, and a leadoff base hit for the Orioles' number 9 hitter. Pete Walker looking on. Austin Voth making his second appearance of the season for the Blue Jays. It is really going to be a cobble it together kind of night, between the fact that it's a bullpen game and that in all likelihood Tyler Rogers, Jeff Hoffman, and Louis Varland, each of them unavailable. But that's many innings away anyway. So if they were to have a lead late, Caleb, you could see a Braden Fisher or a Mason Fluharty close out a game. You could see Ariel Rodriguez in leverage. Connor Siebold is on the roster. He could give him an inning or two. In there, 1-1.
Yeah, we used to call these Johnny Holstaffs. So if you got a jersey and a pair of spikes and have pitched before, you're probably in on this game. I think you're right, though. I think Fluharty or Fisher could be the final 3 outs if they got a lead. They seem like they're probably in the circle of trust, the closest circle of trust.
Two balls and a strike on Ward, who had a base hit in the first. Down and away, Voth falls behind 3-1. Started 17 games for the Orioles back in 2022. Most of his time in the big leagues with the Nationals prior to that. And that's ball 4, and the first 2 have reached. Well, the Blue Jays have done this bullpen game thing before, and they've gone pretty well. They have won each of the last 3, and you can see how good the pitching has been. Now, 2 differences here. One, Spencer Miles was in all 3 of those, and he'll be in another one on Sunday. And in none of those 3 were they without their top 3 leverage guys. So this is a more challenging situation going into the game. That one will get to the backstop, and the runners advance. And they are now at second and third with nobody out after the wild pitch.
See, this breaking ball just gets away, and Valenzuela has absolutely no chance on that. A lot of times you try and slide over, but when it's literally behind the back foot of the batter, best chance is just try and backhand swipe it. If you get it, great. If not, go back and pick it up, throw it back to the pitcher.
So second and third, nobody out. Okamoto even with the bag. Middle infielders backed up. Guerrero just behind the bag. Gunnar Henderson is the batter. And a 2-0 count. And the Orioles are trying to put together a big inning here in the bottom of the third. Their best hitters are coming up. The number's not great for Henderson, but he is a very dangerous hitter. All-star a couple of years ago, and now both having trouble relocating the strike zone. It's 3-0. And a 4-pitch walk, the second walk in a row issued by Voth. The bases are loaded with nobody out for Adley Rutschman, and here comes Pete Walker.
Yeah, one of those scenarios where Voth knows coming into this game the Blue Jays need length from him, but also coming into a 0-0 game, so you're trying to kind of match that up. How aggressive do I need to be versus saving pitches versus trying to attack hitters' weaknesses? There's a lot going on, but when you start to lose that command, you have to be in the zone, and you got to be forced into the zone, and that's what the Orioles are doing right now. They're going to force him into the zone, and in this situation right here, you're looking for a 2-ball somehow, some way. You're willing to give up 1. Just don't let this potential situation turn into a 3, a 4, or a 5 spot. At that point, your team could still have a chance. You give up 4, 5, 6 here, you're in deep trouble.
So the conversation has been had on the mound. There's nobody up in the pen. It's way too early for that. They don't have enough arms to really get somebody up at this point. They need some length out of both. Rutschman hit into a double play his last time up. Did that from the right side of the play. Hit it out to McAdoo at second. That comes in for ball 1, just a little bit low. Holiday at third, Ward at second, Henderson at first. And the 1-0 pitch. This is inside, and he cannot get back in the strike zone right now. The 2-0. Ball 3.
Everything's low into the glove side, down and into left-handers. Hopefully Valenzuela knows that pitch to get him back on track. Maybe it's a changeup you might have to call here just to get his hand placement in the right spot.
Boy, that looked pretty good, but it is called ball 4, and that is going to force in a run. The Orioles take a 1-0 lead, the third consecutive walk issued by both. Sometimes the bullpen games go according to plan, but when they don't, they can go sideways in a hurry. And here's Pete Alonso. Swing and a miss. He chased one off the outside corner, 0-1. Couple of strikes on Alonso. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the third. See if Voth tries to get him to chase something soft off the corner again. Actually left it out over the plate, but it's a fly ball to very shallow right field. Piñango will make the catch, and not deep enough for Ward to try to score. That's out number 1.
Gifted AB from Alonso to the Blue Jays. Both having a lot of trouble throwing strikes, but Alonso goes out of the zone multiple times, induces a couple wild swings, and then Voth just goes back to the well, gets him off the barrel. Now, if you can induce a double play, you still feel like you're in a decent spot.
Guy with a lot of power, Samuel Basallo, the 21-year-old catcher. And a base hit to right his first time up. Swing and a miss. He went after it. It's 0-1. Basallo has already been signed to an 8. Talk about guys signing long-term deals. This is the one guy who has 8 years, $67 million. So giving up a couple of his years after he would have become a free agent to get that long-term security. That's how much they think of him to sign him for that long. Off the edge, 1-1. And a hot hitter. Fastball in, ball 2.
One of those hitters that likes to really get extended, likes to pull the ball from the left side, especially here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards.
Grounded foul. Again, a curveball and down and away, and he went after it again. Those are the 2 pitches that Voth has had success with in this at-bat against Basallo. Put it in a good spot again. You might get him. The 2-2. Reaches for it and hits it in the air to left center. Varsho goes over to get it. He will make the catch, but it is deep enough to bring home Ward. And the sac fly makes it 2-0.
I think that just shows the strength of Basallo. He's off balance, really just kind of throws the barrel at this baseball. And it just takes this ball deep enough so Varsho really can't make a play. Totally off the plate, almost in the other batter's box. But the strength just allows it to carry, so Varsho's got to throw to the lead base.
So first and second, 2 down, and here's Leody Taveras, the center fielder, had a base hit his first time up. Can both shut it down here and prevent a bigger inning. away, ball one. Again falls behind. It is 2-0, 31 pitches, and only 13 of them have been strikes. Three and 0. Taking all the way, 3-1. Line to first and caught by Guerrero to end the inning. The Orioles get a couple and lead 2-0 at the end of 3. Junior Jays, presented by your Ontario Honda dealers, returns to Rogers Center on Sunday, June 7th, and the fun will start outside. The Junior Jays outdoor program begins at 10:30 in the morning and runs up until first pitch. Arrive early for games, inflatables, mascot meet and greets, and live performers. Get your tickets at bluejays.com/promotions. Top 4, and Trevor Rogers, who came into this game struggling about as much as any current starting pitcher of the game. It has been a fairly quiet 3 innings, just 1 hit, a triple by Varsho. As now Clement hits a soft liner that's caught on the fly there by Gunnar Henderson for out number 1 here, top 4. Only 30 pitches required by Rogers to get 10 outs, and Caleb, the 28 he had thrown through the first 3 innings, the fewest Trevor Rogers has ever thrown in the first 3 innings of a game. Blue Jays are swinging early.
They are, and he's had good location. He's really tried to work the right-handed hitters on the inner half. Looks like they're going back in there.
Guerrero struck out in the first, one of 2 strikeouts so far for Rogers.
I think that's a big key for Rogers, establishing that fastball in the inner half to let that changeup play. Really struggled with the changeup this season, and especially putting away pitchers. And if you're a left-handed pitcher and you're not throwing 97, 98, you've got to do something on the inner half to move that contact point out in front.
Little squib pop-up on the right side, and Alonso will catch it, as Guerrero went after a changeup way down below the knees and just popped it up weakly to first.
And this is the effect of the fastball in. That first pitch fastball in that he fouled off, he felt velocity, and look how he just loses his entire lower half right there. That's him feeling uncomfortable versus fastballs in. Then he's got to cheat to it just a little bit, which makes him vulnerable to that changeup. So if Rogers can keep hammering that fastball in, his changeup's going to play tonight.
Breaking ball in for a called strike to Kazuma Okamoto, who hit a fly ball to center in his first at bat. Fouled off by Okamoto, and the count is now 1-2. And another foul back by Okamoto, having a pretty good cut at a 4-seamer up at the top of the zone. Clement retired to begin the inning, then Guerrero, and now taken low by Okamoto. 2-2. Bigger crowd tonight. Friday night, a lot bigger than it was last night. Another great night to see a ball game here in Baltimore. Strike 3 call. And the Blue Jays just unable to solve Trevor Rogers right now. 4 innings, just 1 hit allowed, and just picked up his 3rd strikeout. After some very lean years and then some first overall picks, high draft picks because they were so bad, the Orioles started putting together this young nucleus of talent. Won 101 games in 23, made the playoffs in 23 and 24, but Caleb didn't win a single game, got knocked out without winning a single game either of those 2 years. A big step back last year. They've got a lot of young players. Here's Cowser, he's 26. Kobe Mayo on deck is 24. Jackson Holliday is 22. This is sent to left and fairly deep, but there is room for Straw, and he will make the play as Cowser is retired. Samuel Basayo's only 21. They still have a lot of good young players, but this offseason went out and ownership spent some money. Alonso, 5 years, $155 million. They bring in Chris Bassett. They trade for Taylor Ward. Where do you see this team at right now?
Yeah, I think they're so similar to the Blue Jays in that there's a lot of potential there. Dealt with some injuries early on, trying to get healthy. They're starting to pitch better as of late. Their offense is always a threat. Kind of shocking to believe they haven't won a playoff game since 2014, especially in a couple of those years, especially that 101 win season. Their offense was really leading the pack in terms of the big leagues. They just really scored runs at a tremendous pace, and they just haven't really found winning consistently here with this young core.
Ground ball to third, going to be a long throw for Okamoto, and it's in time to get Mayo.
Sort of a slow developing play right off of the bat of Mayo. You see Okamoto having to drop step towards that left field line, and then just the long throw. Good stretch by Vladdy. We talk about the accuracy from Okamoto. Very easy play to lose arm side and throw that right up the line, but he keeps it online just enough.
Couple of quick outs for Voth, and here's Jackson Holliday, who got things started against Voth with a single into center, eventually came in to score. The Orioles got 2. There's such a great tradition here in Baltimore, and you know it well. You were drafted, signed, made your major league debut as an Oriole. The Orioles go back to 1954. They were the St. Louis Browns for decades before that. But boy, if you look at the history back in the 60s and then in the late 70s and early 80s, here's a towering fly ball to right, and there is little doubt about this one. Jackson Holliday, his 2nd of the season, and it's 3-0.
Yeah, I've heard Joe Siddle say this multiple times. When splits don't split, they turn into BP fastballs, and that's exactly what Holliday got. Split finger up in the zone, and just kind of wrinkles in towards the upper and inner part of the plate. Look at the location. Valenzuela's wanting it down and away, to move down and away, and it almost acts in the reverse of that type of movement pattern. He gets every bit of it. Probably close to Utah Street out there in right field.
First overall pick back in 2022, Jackson Holliday hit 17 home runs last year. And you could see, again, he's 22. You could see him getting bigger and stronger and really leaning into that power more as the years go along.
Well, and his father's a massive human.
His father's a huge guy.
Biggest forms in the big leagues I ever saw.
You must have played against Matt, right?
Played against Matt. Dangerous, big swing.
That must have been an imposing guy to be 2 feet away from you in the batter's box.
I didn't want a big backswing too. Had to watch out.
Yeah. Matt Holliday hit 316 home runs in his career. Played for Colorado, St. Louis, played a year for Oakland, then St. Louis, and then at the end a little bit for the Yankees, and then went back to the Rockies for his final year. But he won a bunch of Silver Sluggers, an All-Star, let's see, 7 times in his career. He was a presence. Ground ball to short for Clement. Ward is retired, and the Orioles along with him, but Jackson Holliday homers, and it's 3-0. Miles Straw is. He's the keep the guys loose guy, and here he is imitating every pitcher he can think of on the staff. This is?
Yeah, that's Varland. The first one was Rogers. Check out this. Watch these little arms. Eep, that is Rogers to a T. Gotta be Gosman. Look at the leg lift. It's absolutely perfect. This might be an opposing pitcher. I think it's Chris Bassett. Look at the shoulder tilt, the big wide stretch. I mean, he's on point.
Yeah. And you couldn't see it on that shot. So Ernie Clement was the catcher, but there were about 15 players, coaches, staff surrounding him and us as well. And we were all giggling like little kids, and everybody's throwing, do this guy, do that guy.
Yes, just cackling. You need those type of glue guys, especially throughout 162 games, to kind of loosen it up. He seems to be that perfect guy.
I think the Gosman leg kick was my favorite part.
Oh, yeah. I love Louis. Little gator arms.
Here's Dalton Varsho, who's got the only hit for the Blue Jays, a one-out triple in the second. No, he hooks it foul into the seats down the line. And it's 0-2 on Varsho. Why has Trevor Rogers done so well tonight?
Well, he's throwing fastballs. He's throwing, coming into this inning, 39 pitches, 27 of them fastballs, 22 four-seamers, and 5 sinkers, and I haven't seen a single Blue Jays hitter on it except for Varsho's triple, which came with 2 strikes. And so you might have a game plan coming into the game. We might want to sit this, might want to sit that, but there are in-game analytics as well. We talk so often about in-game adjustments. To me, I'd love to see the Blue Jays get on the fastball, force him to do something different.
Trevor Rogers, if you're wondering, is not related to Tyler and Taylor. Tyler and Taylor, identical twins. Trevor is not a family member, but as you can see, great numbers last year. Only 18 starts, but a 1.81 ERA. As Varsho keeps having, he's going after everything right now, wanting to protect the plate, keeps fouling off these 2-strike pitches. Oh, 2 again. Looked like he rushed that one a little bit and bounced it in. Charles McAdoo is on deck. He's going to get his second big league at bat. Back out of play. Well, Varsho's making him work.
Boy, he's so good at that kind of dive. Looks like he's lost his lower half and throws the barrel at the baseball. Takes extreme hand-eye to continue to foul pitches off that way.
And another one out of play. And he's seeing everything that Rogers has right now. 4-seamer, sweeper, cutter, sinker, cutter, back to the 4-seamer. About to see pitch number 9. Takes it down and away. And a bouncer back to the mound, gloved by Rogers. Out number 1 as we check in with Arden Zwelling.
Well, here's a quick family history on Charles McAdoo. He's the son of Michael, who played college basketball at Howard University, and Wanda, who ran track at the University of California. His older brother, Michael, was an outfielder at UC Santa Barbara. His cousin, James Michael, won 2 titles with the Golden State Warriors in 2015 and 2017. And his more distant cousin, Bob, is the Bob McAdoo of the Showtime Lakers.
That is the Bob McAdoo, a spectacular talent, a great player is Charles McAdoo. Pops it up, foul down the line, and Alonso goes a long way to make the catch for out number 2. So McAdoo now 0 for 2 in his major league debut. And Rogers has now set down 14 of the 15 Blue Jays he has faced. Here's Miles Straw. Straw lined out to second with Varsho at third and 2 outs in the second. Good contact, but hit it close enough to Holiday that he could make the play. One and one. Rogers working quickly too, and I guess when you're zoned in and you're getting quick outs, your confidence builds and you want to get the ball and throw.
Yeah, especially when you're getting early quick outs, you're efficient. You want to keep in that rhythm, and the more you start to execute and locate, the quicker you want to get it over with. And that's what I worried about this start for Rogers and the Jays. Would the Jays give in and kind of lock him in by playing to his hand, bailing him out of having to get deep and execute multiple times per at bat?
In the air to center. Hit it a pretty long way, but he hit it to the deepest part of the park. The catch made by Taveras, and the side is retired as we go back to the studio for an update with Jamie Campbell. June 10th, when the Phillies are in town, the first 15,000 fans at Rogers Center will receive a Dylan Cease bobblehead. Get your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Cease on the IL now, is here with the team, and John Schneider reiterating before the game today, the plan is for him to throw a bullpen here in Baltimore either tomorrow or Sunday. Hopefully that will happen. It's a necessary step in Cease's progression. The quicker this goes, the less likely he needs a rehab start, the more likely it can be a minimum 15-day stint. They need their guys back.
Avoid a rehab stint at all costs, because that's an extra 4 days after he makes the start to recover. It's an additional 2 starts the Blue Jays would have to cover. He doesn't look stressed out at all.
No, I was going to say, you know, as good as the numbers have been, and they have been, this pitching staff has done a great job. That Fu Manchu of Pete Walker, it's getting grayer by the game right now, because they're just having to make so many moves, and it's not like they got 5 starters they can roll out there every day. And again, the vast majority of it is a leaping catch by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. How about the hops on Vladdy?
Well, it's only 74 off the bat of Rutschman, and sometimes those jam shots to first base are the hardest ones to time, because your internal clock says jump about halfway there, but he timed it perfectly. He just waits, watch the little hop, pop, 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 and then jumps up. That's him reading the ball off the bat correctly. Well done, Vlad. He's a little stutter step. That's him reading it. Easy ball to over jump.
One down, bottom 5. Here's Adley Rutschman. Rutschman grounded into a double play in the first and had a bases loaded walk in the third. Nice play by Voth. That ball was hit pretty well. 2 down.
Love how Voth gets into a really good fielding position. Watch him when he finishes his motion. He's there and ready, not falling off too far to the first base side. Pulls that glove up, snags it. This is big for Voth and the Orioles. You want to kind of send a 1-2-3 back into your dugout to try and do something against Rogers. Generate some sort of momentum on your side.
Here's Pete Alonso 0 for 2. Alonso a strikeout and a fly ball, went 1 for 4 last night, and it was Alonso who got picked off at first. That connection between Valenzuela and Guerrero. From the digging we did today, it sounds like it's Guerrero who puts the play on, and he and Valenzuela just kind of make eye contact between every pitch. It's also discussed during pitching changes when everybody meets on the mound if they think it's a good candidate to try it on. And it's kind of been a Blue Jay specialty play at times, like not all the time. It's a hard play, but you'll see it 5, 6, 7 times a season, it seems, from the Blue Jays the last couple of years, and Guerrero is often the guy who is putting that play on.
And at times he looks unsuspecting, throwing sunflower seeds in his mouth, not really paying attention, but he's locked in, especially when looking for that back pick.
The first pickoff of Brandon Valenzuela's career. Do you by chance remember your first pickoff in the majors?
Oh.
You remember your first hit?
Sure.
You remember your first homer?
Sure.
You remember your first pickoff?
I don't, Dan.
I can hear the wheels grinding. Here's a drive to deep right center by Alonso. Gone. Second home run in as many innings for the Orioles, and that makes it 4-0.
Well, you can always tell when the big boys get a hold of them because they go into that home run trot right off the bat, and that's exactly what Alonso did. Trying to crowd Alonso with a fastball in the inner half, and it's just pulled up and away. And Alonso's got a juice spot up there, trying to go up and in, just yanks it down and away. See that trot right away. He knows he's hit so many of them in his career. As soon as it left the bat, he knew it was gone.
His 11th on the season. Samuel Basallo comes up. Since Pete Alonso entered the major leagues in 2019, he is third in the major leagues in home runs and first in RBIs. The only guys who have hit more homers are Judge and Schwarber. This is a proven year-to-year consistent 35 to 40 near 100 RBIs kind of guy. Big signing for the Orioles. So both wearing it a little bit, but again, they need innings out of them because it's a bullpen game and 3 leverage relievers are down, and they've got another bullpen game of sorts on Sunday. This one hit to deep left center. Straw's back, running out of room, and it's gone. And Basallo has homer to make it 5-0.
Back-to-back homers for the Orioles. It's a breaking ball in the outer half, and Basallo, I guarantee it, was sitting soft. Just the way he hit this pitch, when you get a left-hander reaching all the way over and as balanced as he is, that tells me right away he's sitting soft on the outer half. Wasn't even a strike. Was almost in the other batter's box and goes out to the opposite field. A lot of power from that young man.
So back-to-back homers this inning, 3 in the last 2 innings. 5 runs on 7 hits now for the Orioles. No runs, just 1 hit for the Blue Jays so far. This Baltimore team does have the potential to score a lot of runs and hit a lot of homers. Adam Macko went an inning and 2/3, so both has gotten 9 outs so far. Up over 60 pitches right now, so it could be the end for him here in the 5th, and then John Schneider, Pete Walker will have to figure out who's next. Connor Seabold is here, and he's got a couple of innings in him. That's Seabold there on the end. Start feeling pretty good about having Trey Savage on the mound tomorrow because you need length out of whoever's next. You've got 2 bullpen games and 5 slots in the rotation. The 2-2 down and in.
Talking about feast or famine kind of for the Orioles. When they're winning, they're scoring a ton of runs. And when they're not scoring. 38 runs in the last 7 victories for them. Only 1 run in their last several losses, so it's obvious. When they score, they win. Obviously, you got to score to win, but when they score, they're scoring in bunches, averaging just under 7 a game when they win.
And now Pete Walker's on the phone, so they will get somebody up in case Voth is unable to get out of this inning. The batter is Colton Cowser, 0 for 2 on a couple of fly ball outs. And that's ball 1. And there is Seabold. with the Blue Jays in the spring, then the Tigers. They DFA'd him, made a trade with the Blue Jays, who brought him back. Again, the Blue Jays just trying to get, because of all the injuries they've got, just trying to get as much depth as they can get. Because sometimes what happens is you bring a guy up, you need him, you use him, and then you got to DFA him, you lose him again, and now you got to bring another guy up. And
constant shuffling and churning.
And again, it's just because of the injuries.
Absolutely.
Ground ball left side. Clement will bounce it across to Guerrero. Safe at first is Cowser.
This ball takes Ernie Clement to his right, and typically with the arm strength of Clement, he's going to turn and fire to second base, but I'm not sure McAdoo is there. Look how far over Ernie's got to. He looks at second right there, and then he has to reroute to first base. Get a first start at second base in the major leagues for McAdoo. You could tell that Ernie had to really fire that thing over. He stopped and went underhand like he was going to go to second base, but then had to really fire it across to first.
So the inning continues, first and second. Remember, both got the first 2 outs here this inning. Then a couple of homers, a walk, an infield hit. Now here's Kobe Mayo. 0 for 2, lined out to deep center, and then hit a ground ball to third. Lifts it to shallow left. Straw comes in. And now the inning is over. They get a couple of runs, though, on the home runs by Alonso and Basayo, and it's 5-0 Baltimore at the end of 5. You're watching Rogers Friday Night Blue Jays Baseball, presented by McCain. And it is not going well for the Blue Jays here tonight. They are down 5-0, unable to get much of anything going against the previously struggling Trevor Rogers, and then Austin Voth has been tagged for 3 home runs here tonight. Rogers back out to start the 6th. Has faced 1 batter above the minimum tonight. That was the triple by Varsho in the 2nd. Has not walked a batter. A lot of quick resolutions, as they say, quick outs. A lot of Blue Jays swinging at the first or second pitches they're seeing, and unable to do much with them. Here's Pinango, who almost had a hit, lined one down the left field line, but a great play made by Taylor Ward. A sprawling catch as Pinango fouls one back just below us. What'd you think?
You were ready.
There was no flinch.
You were
ready to make a play.
Both hands fully extended. I'm impressed.
No flinch.
Nope.
Wouldn't have caught it. Line to third, and that ball is caught. And the handful of balls the Blue Jays are squaring up tonight are going at people.
2 from Pinango. Straw with a bullet to Holiday. Really nice swing from Pinango. I love the fact that he's not afraid to go to the opposite field. Perfectly positioned Mayo right there. Otherwise would have been a base knock. Valenzuela hit one hard in the 3rd inning. Line drive out there to Ward. Back-to-back swings. Pinango, Valenzuela in the 3rd. Got to get one to fall.
Valenzuela will take one down and in for ball 1 here. Came into the game hitting an even .300 his last 23 games, with an on-base percentage of .425 because he has walked 13 times in the last 23 games. He is getting better, and he is getting better quickly. Offensively and defensively. Maybe getting better is the wrong way to say it. He's probably comfortable and confident enough with a few weeks under his belt now that just kind of the natural ability is coming out.
No question. You could tell when he showed up he wanted to prove, and a lot of times as a young player you start swinging at balls, you're swinging a little bit more wild than you usually would. You're chasing a little bit more, you're trying really hard, and then you have a little bit of success, and it allows you to kind of just sink in and start to kind of become more of the hitter you probably are. Seeing quite a bit of patience from him.
Sends this one high in the air towards the right field corner, and it's going to be off the wall, and he is on his way to second with a double. I don't know that we've seen him go that way as a right-handed batter with that much authority, but he's got the power to hit the ball to all fields from both sides.
Yeah, might not have been on purpose. Ball's outside. ready to go on a 3-1 count, but he's really just been finding the barrel as of late. Large framed human, when he finds it with that ground force he creates, provides a lot of leverage.
Runner at second, one out. Here's George Springer. 0 for 2 on a pop up and a ground out. Takes one right over the inside corner for a strike. Big swing and a miss, 0-2. That sweeper from Rogers has had the Blue Jays off balance here tonight. Guerrero a couple of spots away. Can the top of the order at least get him on the scoreboard here in the 6th with Valenzuela out at second? Springer pops it up foul, and this one will find the seats. A nice grab made by a fan below us in a Cedric Mullins t-shirt. It remains 1-2 on Springer. Checks it, takes ball 2. And a challenge.
Catch is challenging, ball call.
Samuel Basayo is challenging. This closer look is brought to you by Specsavers. And it's low.
Calls confirmed. Baltimore has 1 challenge remaining.
So the Orioles down to 1 challenge, now 2-2 on Springer. Inside, 3-2. Clement getting ready to get his 3rd look at him.
Feels like this is kind of the inning. If the Orioles are going to, I mean, the Jays are going to do something to really pressure the Orioles, it's kind of got to happen now.
Springer bounces back up.
Just another foul ball off that foot.
Back foot.
Back foot this time. That indicates that that ball was really deep. If you're hitting the front foot, typically too far out in front, back foot, that ball is really deep into the stance in the hitting zone.
You know, he's got that extra bit of padding on the left foot because that's where the fractured toe is. But given the way he's been fouling baseballs off himself all season long, he might just want to put one on the right foot too.
At this point,
just play it safe.
I might just go up there with the catcher's shin guards on both legs, hope you hit a homer and can just jog around.
And he takes the walk. So 2 on with 1 out. The first walk issued by Rogers tonight, and that'll bring up Clement.
Yeah, you got to do something to try and shake it up against Rogers, to try and force the Orioles to kind of get into that bullpen, just change it up. Might be the right guy at the plate right now. Had a good liner to Gunnar Henderson in the 4th. Coming into this game, his last 11, he's been really on fire. 342, 8 extra base hits. An extra base hit would breathe a lot of life into that Jays dugout right now. Give them a little bit of hope. This just feels like the inning. If they're going to do it, it's going to do it now and get within striking distance, or just going to let it slip from their fingers.
Pitch count still very manageable for Rogers. Nobody up in the pen. And a rare swing and a miss by Clement. Does not swing and a miss very much at all. Has the 3rd lowest strikeout percentage in the major leagues among qualified hitters. Grounds it up the middle, and a chance for the Orioles to turn 2, and they will. Rogers gets out of it, and the Blue Jays still held off the scoreboard. Fans Friends, don't miss the Retro Domer hat giveaway. June 24th, you can take home a vintage-style cap featuring Domer the Turtle, the beloved Skydome mascot. Buy your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Bottom six here at Camden Yards. Stan Schulman, Caleb Joseph, Arden Zwelling, and Connor Siebold is now on the mound for the Blue Jays.
Recently acquired from the Tigers. We spoke to him earlier. He was talking about liking the fastball. It's got a little bit of extra giddy up on it. The miles per hour is up. The whiff is up. He likes that pitch. Still trying to get a good feel for that changeup. Slider's been the out pitch, especially to righties, but he'll work all sides of the plate. See if he can get a good feel for that changeup.
His first outing as a Blue Jay was with the Blue Jays in the spring. As Jackson Holliday comes up, Holliday homered his last time up, also has a base hit tonight. Siebold was with the Blue Jays in the spring, but had a clause in his contract if he wasn't put on the major league roster by a certain date, he could opt out. He opted out. Sided with the Tigers. Made 11 appearances with them. Pretty good numbers, a 3.45 ERA. But then was DFA'd as a couple of their injured pitchers came back. And the Blue Jays worked out a deal. Again, just get another arm in the organization to build up the depth. But he's out of options. He comes to the big league team. Same thing for Voth. And this is where the churn starts sometimes. But Siebold making his Blue Jay debut. This is hit down to first. Guerrero's got it and will win the race to get Holliday. Right now, what John Schneider is thinking about from Connor Siebold is just get as many outs as he can get.
Would love to get 2 innings from Siebold, and he's just going to have to be efficient. 35 pitches, I believe, is the most he's thrown this season. Tigers.
Taylor Ward, a base hit, a walk, and a ground out. Not a high fly to center, but lots of room out there as Dalton Varsho settles in underneath it. 2 down. Siebold has also pitched in the big leagues with the Red Sox, the Rockies, the Rays, and the Braves prior to the Tigers and now the Blue Jays this year. Originally a 3rd round pick of the Phillies back in 2017. 2 outs. Here's Gunnar Henderson. 0 for 2 with a walk. In there for a strike. Off the end of the bat to left field. Straws there. That's a very quick 1-2-3 inning for Connor Siebold in his first regular season appearance as a Blue Jay. So we'll have the Orioles and the Blue Jays for you. First pitch 4:05 Eastern tomorrow. A little bit later on, if you're looking for some Saturday night baseball, it'll be the Yankees and the A's starting late, 10 o'clock Eastern time on Sportsnet. The A's a half game back of the Mariners for the top spot in the American League West, a division in which none of the 5 teams are over 500 right now. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading it off. Only 4 of the 15 teams in the American League are over 500 at the moment. The Rays, the Yankees, the Guardians, and the White Sox. As Guerrero lines one through the right side, and he's aboard with a leadoff base hit here in the 7th.
Really nice swing by Vladdy right here. I love it when he goes to the opposite field. Not trying to do too much. Watch how deep that ball gets. Right at the belt is where he makes contact. Swings like that can really start to lock you in.
Here's Kaz Okamoto, 0 for 2 on a fly ball to center and a strikeout, and he hits it hard deep left field, and it is gone. A long home run for Okamoto, his club leading 12th of the season, and it is 5-2.
Runs batted in, 30 and 31 on the season for Okamoto. We talked about Rogers really trying to get that fastball by the Blue Jays hitters. Okamoto comes up, and he was not missing it whatsoever. This ball's on the outer half, and he beats it to the spot all the way from the outside part and pulls it to dead left field. What a swing.
Varsho shows bunt and takes a strike. Okamoto's, like his hard hit rate, exit velocity, they're all way up there on the leaderboard. The problem has been obviously swing and miss, but when he makes contact, he hits the ball awfully hard. This one just foul from Varsho.
I mean, pound for pound, he's one of the stronger guys I've seen in real life. I mean, just not getting beat to the spot, just ready and on time. I just love it when he's on the fastball. Don't worry about the other pitches. Just be on heaters and just naturally react to some of those breaking balls. Took him a couple ABs, but he finally got it.
Varsho tripled in the second, grounded out in the fifth. That's a fair ball down the left field line. It'll shoot into foul territory, and Varsho's got his second extra base hit of the night. This one a double.
We're talking about him kind of bailing and throwing those hands at those outer pitches from the lefty. There it is right there. Just throws the hands down. Check out the nice hop from Tyler Jones, getting out of the way and then pointing, fair ball. But another really nice swing by Varsho right there, especially left on left.
And the bullpen is now up for the Orioles. Big right-hander Tyler Wells is getting loose in the bullpen. The Blue Jays starting to make a game of it. It is 5-2, man at second, and still nobody out.
A big spot for McAdoo right here. Major League debut, struck out in his first at-bat. Flew out in foul territory to Alonso. A lot of times when your team starts kind of mounting something, you see the guys in front of you starting to meet barrel to baseball. You kind of feel that energy as well.
He got a chance to play in a lot of spring training games this year, 19 of them, in fact. Remember, Okamoto was in the WBC for Japan, and Guerrero was in the WBC for the Dominican Republic. Like, the whole infield was in the WBC. So Charles McAdoo got a lot of time with the big club. John Schneider and company got a long look at him in the spring. 1 ball, 1 strike. Varsho out at second. Nobody out still. And a fly ball to right field. He's given it a ride. It's going. It's gone. Charles McAdoo with a home run in his first big league ball game, and suddenly the Blue Jays are back within 1. Can you imagine what's going through his head right now?
Where am I? Homer 1 on the season, Homer 1 on the back of the ball card. What a swing by the rookie. Totally flipped the script on this game. Going opposite field. Beautiful swing.
And that is all for Rogers. He doesn't get an out this inning, and it's a 1-run game. What a moment for Charles McAdoo. His major league debut here tonight after making a couple of outs in his first 2 at-bats. Takes this pitch from Tyler Rogers to the opposite field and got just enough of it to get it out of here.
Bit of a unique setup. In the front foot is a little bit closed off, strides to open, but he's got really nice power to the opposite field. Saw a couple of those in the minor league clips, but what a swing he will remember forever. Congratulations.
So it's a 1-run game. Here's Tyler Wells with Nathan Lucas pinch hitting for Miles Straw. And Lucas goes after the first pitch. He has popped it up. It is foul. It is playable, and Messiah will make the catch, and that'll take care of Lucas on 1 pitch.
Just great direction. Perfectly on plane swing. He might have known it right out the gate with that big league jog. Varsho loves it.
They didn't even give him the silent treatment. I thought he might get a little bit of that, but they just mobbed him as soon as he got back in the dugout. One-run game here in the 7th. Still a ways to go, and here's Pinango, 0 for 2 on a couple of lineouts. 1 to left, 1 to third. Another pop-up, this one foul, and this one will get out of play, so it's 0-2 on Pinango. Boy, for a guy who is pretty understated, soft-spoken, and when we talked to him before the game, got a big smile when he hits it out of the ballpark.
Deservedly so. Been all over it tonight. A lot of good cuts from Pinango. Wouldn't be surprised if he was able to clip one out in front. Even down 0-2, he's just been all over it.
Swing and a miss. Wells will get him. A cutter, 2 down. So here's Valenzuela, who has hit the ball hard twice tonight, both times from the right side when he was facing Rogers, lined out to left in the 3rd, and then doubled off the right field wall in the 6th. A 2-hopper sharply hit out to short, and a good play made by Henderson. And that's 3 quick outs for Wells. But the Blue Jays are back in it. It started with a 2-run home run from Kazuma Okamoto, his team leading 12th of the season. And then the rookie, first big league ball game, Charles McAdoo going yard, and it's 5-4. Beyond the Baseline's meeting rooms at Rogers Center offer a bold new way to meet and inspire. Reserve one of 4 elevated spaces, each tailored to deliver on all of your hosting needs with iconic ballpark energy. You can't go wrong booking the draft room, hosting your meeting in the very same room where the Blue Jays draft picks are made and major on-field decisions take place. For more information, visit bluejays.com/meeting rooms. Well, all of a sudden, it turned into quite an interesting ball game here in Baltimore with Caleb Joseph, the former Baltimore Oriole, and Arden Zwelling. I'm Dan Schulman. It's 5-4, bottom 7. Nathan Lucas remains in the game in left after pinch hitting for Miles Straw. And Connor Siebold is back on the mound to at least begin his 2nd inning of work at a 3-up, 3-down, bottom of the 6th. It's Adley Rutschman, Pete Alonso, and Samuel Basayo. Lots of thunder coming up here in the bottom of the 7th. Rutschman 0 for 2 and also a bases loaded walk. Out in front of him, 0-1. Down and away to even it up, trying to change up. That Rutschman wouldn't go after. Really kind of turns his back a little bit on the hitter and hides the ball. I would imagine the hitter picks up the release point maybe a little bit later with Siebold than they do with most other guys. As Mason Fluharty's now getting loose. 3-1. Called strike, 3-2 on a 3-1 count. Went back to that slider to get back in the zone.
Yeah, and he's far third base side of the rubber, and so with a left-handed batter in the box, the way he's releasing that, it probably looks like it's a mile away, kind of bending right around that outside part of the plate. Very easy pitch to let go and check down as a lefty.
And a challenge immediately asked for by Valenzuela. Not only did he ask for the challenge, he's throwing the ball around the infield already as if he knows it's a strikeout, and it is.
Call's overturned. Toronto.
Wow.
That's a new one.
I like it.
Call for the challenge, throw the ball to the third baseman, start going around the horn.
It's a man that feels very confident in the zone. Seabold really goes down underneath with that fastball, probably trying to go up. But right out the gate, you saw Valenzuela, and he knew it, just chucked it. Throw this ball around the horn, boys.
Here's Pete Alonso. Valenzuela's success rate on challenges is another aspect of his game that is getting better. Alonso homered his last time up. The lefty Fluharty is up. A left-handed hitter in a Basayo is on deck. Seabold trying to get Alonso. Fouled off, 2-1.
Well, he's looked sharp. Seabold has. He's got good action on the breaking balls. I've liked the consistent action on the changeup, a pitch he was talking about, really wanting to feel it a certain way. It's all about depth on that pitch.
Swing and a miss and a fastball up and in, 2-2.
And that's the pitch that he has had a lot of success with because of that uptick in velocity, seeing a couple miles per hour harder. That one 93 miles per hour, and he said hitters just aren't seeing it very well. They're not taking good swings on it. I'm feeling really confident with that pitch.
Ground ball to short. Waiting for it, Clement. On to first in time. 5 up, 5 down so far for Seabold. And now here comes John Schneider with the left-hand hitting Samuel Basayo due up next. He's going to call on Mason Fluharty. We'll see if there's a counter move from Craig Albertaz when we come back, but we'll step aside for the moment. A nice first outing for Connor Seabold.
Make it up Friday with McCain, official French fry of the Toronto Blue Jays.
5-4 Orioles, bottom of the 7th. As night has fallen here in Baltimore, and Mason Fluharty is into the game. This will be his major league leading 30th appearance, breaking the tie that he and Brayton Fisher had shared at 29. Coming on with 2 outs, nobody on, to face the left-handed hitting Samuel Basayo, who will remain in the game. And I guess in this kind of a situation, they've got Adley Rutschman DHing. They got 2 catchers, and they will often use the one who is not catching as the DH, which kind of limits your pinch hitting. If you want to bring in a right-handed bat here, then Rutschman has to go catch. You lose the DH, so Basayo stays. But against your best bats in the lineup. Bounced in, a ball and a strike. Seabold did his job tonight, faced 5 batters and got them all. Ground ball up the middle. It'll be Clement to make the play. A dive by McAdoo, but it got by him. Fortunately, he didn't touch it, and it went to Clement, and Ernie made the play to get the out. End of 7, a 5-4 Orioles. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update with Jamie Campbell and Chris LaRue. There are some incredible prizes up for grabs during the 50 Seasons jackpot from Jays Care. You could win trips to see the Blue Jays in New York, groceries for a year, or a 50-day Mediterranean cruise. If you're in Alberta, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, or Ontario, visit bluejays.com/5050 to get your tickets now. It's closing in on $1 million right now. The Warehouse here in Baltimore, out beyond the scoreboard in the right field wall. 5-4 Orioles top 8. Here is Yennier Cano with the top of the order coming up for the Blue Jays, beginning with George Springer. Defensively, Blaze Alexander is now at third. Taken for a strike. Springer has rarely challenged this year. Not sure that one might not have worked out, but he's only challenged twice all season. He's been right both times.
Yeah, that is a bit shocking. Does have such a good eye at the plate.
And he pulls it into left field for a leadoff base hit here in the 8th.
Another barrel for Springer. Really tough pitcher. Cano kind of low slotted arm slot. More of a slinger type, really uncomfortable type of feel. He's able to be on time for that pitch and continue the momentum for the Blue Jays.
Cano can be tough. He was an all-star 3 years ago, having a very good year this year, and now Clement's got a base hit. Just beyond the reach of Alexander, and the first two are aboard.
And Ernie comes out ready to swing right out the gate on a hanging breaking ball. Blaze Alexander just entered the game on defense. He was playing in, maybe looking for the bunt. And if he's playing back, I got to believe this might be within reach for Blaze. But now the Jays are kind of cooking. First and second, no outs with Vladdy, who just had a really nice swing in his last at-bat. See if he can kind of produce that same type of swing.
Guerrero lines it to left, and it's down and all the way to the wall. Springer is on his way home. He is waving Clement home, and Ernie is in to score as the Blue Jays have taken the lead on a huge two-run double by Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Three consecutive pitches from Cano, three consecutive barrels for the Blue Jays. We told you, sometimes a swing to right field like that will lock Vladdy in, and it sure did. Ready and on time for this sinker down and in, and he just drops the barrel right on top of it. Springer coming around. Look at the tight turn from Clement. Look how he stutter steps to get a good angle. Not even a throw from Henderson as he tried to throw it, but kind of spiked it back underneath.
And again, not only was Carlos Fabulous waving Ernie Clement home, George Springer was waving Ernie Clement home as he was on his way to the plate. There's the spike. What a big hit for a guy who needed to deliver extra base hit, big moment, drive and runs. These are the hits they have been waiting for from Guerrero.
When Guerrero doesn't try very hard, that's when he starts with the extra base hits. And I really love it when I see him earlier in a game barrel the ball to right field for a single. That just always locks his contact point in. That's a ball that we've seen him chop to third base, ground out. He was able to be on time and ready for it. Gives the Blue Jays the lead.
Here's Okamoto, who homered his last time up. They have come from 5-0 down to take a 6-5 lead here in the 8th inning. Still nobody out here in the 8th. A called strike, and it's 1-1. One and two. And now more activity in the Baltimore pen. That is left-hander Keegan Aiken. Way outside. Remember, the Blue Jays do not have their top 3 leverage guys available. They've all pitched each of the last 2 days. The more the merrier if you're the offense right now. jammed him, and a little dribbler back to the mound. The throw to first, and then Guerrero goes to third. Sized up the play, and when he saw Cano coming to get it, going to first, Vladdy takes a big 90 feet.
Well, that's huge. That sets up an at-bat for Varsho to now hit a deep fly ball to the outfield. Really heads-up base running play. Look at Vladdy. Pause, pause, pause. Cano doesn't even check him, and the minute he kind of looks up to go to first base, Vladdy takes off. No chance for Alonso to redirect all the way to third. Very smart base running, team-oriented play right there.
Cano out, Aiken coming in for Varsho. One of the biggest hits he has had this season, a 2-run double to give them the lead, and then the base running here, watching the play, and as soon as Cano goes to first, he takes third and takes it without a throw.
Easy play to just check down, say, I'll just kind of trot back to third, but that's a team-oriented play. He set his lefty up now for success. Infield's drawn in. All Varsho has to do is get this ball into the outfield grass somehow. Hopefully we'll score Guerrero.
You can see Keegan Aiken really having a tough time of things this season as he misses ball one to Varsho. Last year Aiken had a 3.41 ERA in 64 appearances. This year he's given up 15 earned runs in 12 innings, given up 19 hits in those 12 innings. Varsho chases 1-1. Do you go into a don't try to do too much mindset, just hit a fly ball here?
Well, I think until you get to 2 strikes, I think you got to really go aggressively early on. Because when you have that aggressive mindset, sometimes you're locked into a certain part of the zone, probably looking close to you with Aiken, knowing he wants to sweep it off. When you're aggressive, you'll auto take. If you go into feel for the ball mode, that's when you reach and give yourself up too early.
A cold strike on the outside corner, 2-2, and that may have been a bit of a break for Aiken, but Varsho will not challenge it. Blue Jays still have both of theirs remaining. A liner to short, and it's speared by Henderson to prevent that ball from going into center field. Out number 2.
Well, they talk about batted ball luck. Almost takes the neck off of Aiken. And watch Henderson flinch here because he can't see the ball for a long time until it gets past Aiken. Perfectly positioned Henderson robs Varsho of a hit and a run batted in.
So here's McAdoo, who homered in his last at bat. Struck out in the second, popped up in foul territory in the 5th. And then in his 3rd ever big league at bat, hit a 2-run homer to right in the 7th. Fouled off, 1-1. Braden Fisher just getting loose, it looks like, not throwing hard yet. Mason Fluharty got the last out in the 7th. One and 2. Got beat a little bit by that fastball away. Good take. Change up in a pretty good spot from Aiken, but McAdoo picked it up quickly. Guerrero walking down the line at 3rd. And it's sent out of play again right side by McAdoo. What's your take on him after watching 3+ at bats so far?
I see a little Matt Kemp in the way that he's closed off just a little bit, strides to more square, but then has direction towards the middle of the field, slightly opposite field. It's a really good comp. See how that left foot's closed off a little bit?
Grounded to short, Henderson up with it. And makes the play to retire the side, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with a big hit, lining the first pitch he saw from Yennier Cano into the left field corner. A 2-run double, and the Blue Jays will take a 1-run lead to the bottom of the 8th. Next game in this series comes your way tomorrow afternoon. 3:30 Eastern is the broadcast start with Blue Jays Central. First pitch at 4:05 on Sportsnet. Right-hander Brandon Young for the Orioles. You can tell who's pitching for the Blue Jays. Trey Savage having an outstanding start to his season. It's 6-5 Blue Jays bottom 8. Here's Leody Taveras to face Mason Fluharty with Braden Fisher up in the pen. Defensive changes. Andres Jimenez now in the game at short. And Ernie Clement has moved to second, so Charles McAdoo is out of the game. That's in there. So again, for people who may have just seen the score and went, whoa, and are tuning back in. No Rogers, no Hoffman, no Varland. Looks like John Schneider wants to try to get it done with Fluharty and Fisher. Out in front now, 1-2. And both Fluharty and Fisher certainly have pitched in leverage before. Close games, 8th inning, 9th inning, playoff games. This is not foreign to them. Down and away. Taveras, pretty good speed. Leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the 8th. An important guy for Fluharty to get. The 2-2 in the air to shallow right field. Piñango the catch, 1 down.
Catch every pitch with Canada's most reliable 5G Plus network and best 5G Plus network. Rogers, we got you.
1 down here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and a meeting on the mound because the Orioles are sending up a pinch hitter. It's going to be the right-hand hitting Jeremiah Jackson to hit for Colton Cowser. Fluharty is going to stay to face him.
These types of outings, especially when you get pinch hitters, a lot of times they like to go early and often. You try your best to pitch away from damage.
Jackson, a second-round pick of the Angels back in 2018, spent a bunch of years in their minor league system, never got to the big leagues with them. Made his major league debut last year, hit .276 in 48 games, and has been productive. Got a lot of time at second base before Holiday came back off the IL. Not playing as much now. Another right-handed batter for Fluharty to deal with as he misses outside, ball 1. Swing and a miss, and a ball up and away, 1-1. That's the changeup that Fluharty is using every now and again, trying to give right-handed batters just something else to think about with the cutter and the sweeper. Foul back, 1-2.
And I love it. I hope he throws more of them. Talking to him earlier in the season about that changeup, he mentioned, do I really want to throw it maybe in a one-run game where it could swing the game? Well, I think he's starting to build that confidence with that pitch. It just takes the eye level of the hitters on the outer half, opens up some protection for those breaking balls.
Foul back by Jackson.
When everything's moving into you, Dan, as a right-handed hitter, you get really kind of easy into that swing path of kind of moving down and across, and that changeup forces you to do something totally different.
Miss just down and away with the sweeper. Now 2-2 on Jackson. This is the 7 spot in the Orioles lineup, so Fluharty right now dealing with guys near the bottom, but the guys at the top are going to come up. If not this inning, then in the 9th. 2-2, line to center field. Diving attempt and a catch by Varsho, who's made 2 big plays going back early in the game, racing in on this one.
It took a perfect route again. Watch Varsho's jump perfectly right in. That little pause right off the bat, he plays it perfectly. He had to really contort his body to get around that ball. See how he had to lift his elbow up to get that ball into the pocket of his glove. He's had 3 or 4 really solid reads this series. Hopefully that continues, because when he gets the right read, the right jump, and the right angle, there's not a ball that falls out there.
2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. And Blaze Alexander is the batter. He came on defensively for Kobe Mayo a couple of innings ago. So that's a big power bat in Mayo, who's not in the lineup for Baltimore anymore. Alexander went 1 for 3 with a double in last night's game.
A risky play too. If he drops that, it's going all the way to the wall. Varsho that liner.
Out of play, and Fluharty now out in front, 1-2. Connor Siebold got 5 big outs, 3 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. Fluharty the last out in the 7th. The first 2 thus far here in the bottom of the 8th. Line drive but foul into the seats down the line. Blue Jays were down 5-0, and then all of a sudden erupted in the 7th off Trevor Rogers, including 2-run homers from Kazuma Okamoto and Charles McAdoo. Then the 2-run double in the 8th from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And now Fluharty wants to have a word with Valenzuela. McAdoo now out of the game with the defensive changes. But I'd say turning a double play and hitting a homer in your first big league game is a pretty good night's work.
Especially if the Orioles hold on. Why do I keep saying the Orioles? Especially if the Blue Jays hold on to win this game. That will be a very successful debut.
Conversation's been had. Pitch has been agreed upon. Here it comes. Down and in. Now the 2-2. Got him. What a job by Mason Fluharty. He takes care of the Orioles in order in the bottom of the 8th, and the Blue Jays still lead. Well, if you turned away a little bit earlier, you missed some excitement after the 2-run home run from Kazuo Okamoto in the 7th. 2 batters later, Charles McAdoo with a 2-run homer right here in his major league debut. And then Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just jumping on the first pitch he saw from Yennier Cano, lining a double into the left field corner, scoring 2. And the Blue Jays, who once trailed 5-0, now lead 6-5. They've gotten very good work out of Connor Siebold and Mason Fluharty out of the pen. McAdoo all smiles tonight. Why wouldn't he be? And it's 6-5 Blue Jays, top 9. New pitcher for the Orioles, Rico Garcia, who's been getting a lot of the high leverage work with Ryan Helsley on the IL. And as you can see from the numbers, he's been a problem for opposing hitters.
4-seam changeup, slider, and curveball from the 32-year-old right-hander. Fastball be around 95. Primarily changeup, 86-mile-per-hour range. See if Lucas can hang on to some of these changeup, drive one to left field.
Tyler O'Neill is now in right after Cowser was lifted for a pinch hitter. And the first batter for the Blue Jays is Nathan Lucas. Lucas's second at bat came on as a pinch hitter for Miles Straw in the 7th. It popped up in foul territory. Lines it into right. It's a fair ball and headed for the corner. Lucas will make the turn as O'Neill's got to chase after it, and it's a leadoff double.
Pitch up in the zone from Garcia. Watch this tomahawk type of swing. Just gets behind the baseball perfectly, and because he's out in front, that gives it that direction towards that right field line. Another insurance run would be massive for the Blue Jays in this inning.
Blue Jays now have 10 hits in the game. 7 of them are for extra bases. And this has been a team, as everybody well knows, that sometimes has been stuck in singles mode, but not tonight. Here's Piñango looking to at least advance Lucas to third. Do you start a hair earlier because you're trying to pull the ball?
Yeah, I think you move your sight to the inner lane, knowing he might try and throw some changeups on the outer lane. Don't defend that until you have to. You see it on the inner lane, pull it with that nice short stroke. He's probably taken some of the best swings of the night, in my opinion. Really direct. I know he struck out in his last at bat, but very direct to the baseball. Hit the barrel multiple times tonight. Low liner to right center would do the job.
Swings through it, and it's 2-1. And Garcia has fed him back-to-back changeups that Piñango has swung over the top of. 2-2.
Gonna try and stay right back up the box now. Run out of bat if you think too heavy to the pull side.
And he got him. Boy, Garcia made some pitches, and he comes back to get Piñango, who cannot advance the runner.
Talk about climbing the ladder with fastballs. Well, this is going down the ladder. He went middle down, and then down and away. It just went right down that ladder with the changeups. Good floating action from Garcia.
So now Valenzuela, 1 for 3, doubled in the 6th. As impressive as the comeback has been offensively for the Blue Jays, they have left some guys out there. Remember, Varsho tripled with 1 out in the 2nd. They didn't get him home. Guerrero, after he drove in the 2 runs with a double, there was nobody out. He was out at 2nd with nobody out. He was at 3rd with 1 out. They didn't get that run home. These are missed opportunities. And now Valenzuela pops it up. The catch made in shallow left by Ward for out number 2. It's 6-5, and that's great because they were down 5-0, but it could be 7-5, 8-5. You can get these guys home without getting another hit if you just execute.
And it's where the Blue Jays have kind of taken step forward, step back, step forward, step back from time to time this season. Those add-on runs give you insurance in the bullpen, a bullpen that's been almost perfect all season. Giving them some room for error is what you want. Hadn't happened so far in this inning.
Here's Springer, 1 for 3 with a walk, singled and scored his last time up. They're just 2 for 10 with the runners in scoring position tonight. Now the 2 have been big ones. The McAdoo 2-run homer and the Guerrero 2-run double. So there have been some good things, but there just are extra runs that have been out there. They've been unable to cash in. Let's see if Springer can get the job done. They will take a lead to the bottom of the 9th. It looks like Braden Fisher will be coming in as Piñango has a look at that at bat. Lucas, the leadoff second. Lays off, ball 2. Trying to win a bullpen game in which the top 3 leverage guys are unavailable because of recent workload. Not the easiest thing in the world to do, but the Blue Jays have put themselves in position to do so. And a 1-hopper to short. Henderson up with it, and the leadoff double is stranded. So it will be a 1-run lead going to the bottom of the 9th here at Camden Yards, and it's Braden Fisher coming in. 6-5 Blue Jays going to the bottom of the 9th, and among the guys you see out there on the far left, Tyler Rogers, beside him Jeff Hoffman, then you see Ariel Rodriguez, but then Louis Varland, obviously Rogers, Hoffman, and Varland. If Varland had not pitched 2 days in a row, he'd be in this game. But those top 3 guys, Varland, Hoffman, Rogers, have all pitched 2 days in a row. So after a great effort by Mason Fluharty, it's going to be Braden Fisher, Caleb, who is looking for his first save in the major leagues.
Needed just 6 pitches to get through an inning of work last night versus the Orioles. He'll face 9-1-2. We'll need good executed breaking balls to finish this thing off for the Blue Jays.
It'll be 9-1-2. Jackson Holliday, Taylor Ward, and Gunnar Henderson coming up for the Orioles here in the bottom of the 9th. In there, 1-1. Spencer Miles is up in the pen, but we've seen this before. Miles is kind of in effect a starter right now for maybe 5 innings on Sunday. Once they get deep enough in the game 2 days before, he is probably up just kind of treating this as his between outings session in the pen. I wouldn't think this is for him to come here. This feels more like, we know we're not going to need you tonight because we've gotten deep enough into the game. Just get your throwing in preparation for whatever you're going to do on Sunday.
Bullpen session for sure. With where the Blue Jays are at, if you just can't cover innings, you might have to throw him out there. But fortunately for the Blue Jays, they don't have that scenario on their hands.
Close, but no, and it's 2-2 on Holliday. A lot of interested observers. The Blue Jays rallying from 5-0 down. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and a fastball grounded out to second. Backhanded by Clement. 1 down.
Love the fact that Fisher went to the fastball in the outer half versus Holliday. Already has a home run to the pull side. Will use that fastball sparingly, a little sneak attack type of fastball. Always getting that first out of the 9th is a big deal. He secures it.
Top of the order, Taylor Ward, 1 for 3 with a walk. Ward very patient. The walk he drew in the 3rd, his 50th walk of the season. He is 3rd in the majors in walks. So if he can work a walk to get on, he will not shy away from that. That is in there. Fisher, by the way, again, we're talking about looking for his first major league save, but big outings in the playoffs. And I distinctly remember 2-inning outings where 1 or both of the innings was an extra innings during the regular season. High leverage stuff. Fly ball left center field. Long run Varsho. He's there. Out number 2. And one thing you know as well as I do about Braden Fisher, he is not scared of the moment.
Nope, very low beating heart. You can just tell the moment's not getting to him, has the same look on his face, whether he's dealing or whether he's getting it handed to him. And that's kind of what you want in these big moments. That playoff experience pays huge dividends in games and situations like this.
2 down, and here's Gunnar Henderson. And a slider is in there for called strike 1. Tried it again, miss low, a ball and a strike. Now the 1-1. Missed upstairs, ball 2. .65 Blue Jays, bottom 9. Stressful baseball right now. The 2-1 pitch, ground ball off the leg of Clement. And Henderson is aboard.
Well, Ernie slides over to get in front of this ball to make sure it doesn't go through, and I think that's the feeling we all have. The game is almost over, and Ernie's been so sure-handed his entire career. Watch him kind of get down, and he just underplays it. Gets that glove a little bit too tall, and it goes off the tip of the glove O's are still alive.
Yep, did get a bit of the glove on it, but couldn't squeeze it. Adley Rutschman is the batter. He represents the winning run. And more than anybody, Fisher has to put it behind him. Refocus, which obviously he has, dealing now with a Rutschman. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, 0-2. That was a nasty curveball right there.
Tons of break, tons of bite. I love the fact that it was a little bit more on the outer half. He can locate a backdoor breaker right here. It might do the trick.
Fisher sets. And the 0-2 pitch, another ground ball to Clement. He's got this one, and the Blue Jays win it. Braden Fisher picks up his first big league save. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with a big 2-run double. Okamoto and McAdoo with home runs. Kaz remembering to turn the cap around backwards tonight. Hugs all around. A big comeback victory for the Blue Jays.
There's moments in seasons when you look back and you think, man, that was a turning moment. There's also games. Everything was stacked against the Blue Jays. They're going kind of a Johnny Holstaff type of game. They get down by 5 runs. This offense just kind of came to life when they needed to. I look back at those 2 plays that Varsho made, catching those balls. That was not only great for him on a personal note just to get those reads, but those could have turned into some really big innings for the Orioles. It was a really solid game. McAdoo, unbelievable performance right out the gate. This is a really important win to mark onto your calendar if the Blue Jays have a very successful season.
And for the first time, Caleb, since they were 4-4, the Toronto Blue Jays are at 500. They are now 29-29 after the win tonight. Let's send it back to the studio. Sportsnet Central presented by KFC with Ken and Ivanka.
Put the Blue Jays ahead with a 2-run double in the 8th inning. And Vlad, we saw your emotion at second base. Just tell us what you were feeling in that moment.
I mean, I just, you know, I was like, I don't know how many about without double, you know, and all that coming in my mind. But I just, and that about just trying to put a good swing and that pitch, and he threw me a good pitch to hit, and think I can put a good swing in that.
You've been open about not feeling your best at the plate, being frustrated with your results. What are some of the things you've been doing behind the scenes to try to get to more swings like those?
I mean, I just come earlier to the ballpark, try to do my job, try to they believe in my approach, you know, and go out there and have fun. Try to do the best I can to help the team to win.
It seems like every night the young players having a big moment here. Tonight it's Charles McAdoo, home run in his first big league game. What's it like watching some of these guys come through in big spots?
I mean, it's good, you know, it's good, especially at a young age. In your first game on the big league, you hit a home run, you know, to me, that's a release, you know. He's good, man. He be swinging the bat good. I just told him at the line before the game, this is the same game, you know. It's different level, but it's still the same game. 27 now, and just go out there and have fun. And thank God he hit that home run.
Remember when you were the young guy around here, Vladdy? Thanks for your time. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Vladdy, 2 hits. H-A-W. Can we, we're taping.